Good morning and welcome to the Geelong Cricket Show in a remodelled little surrounds at the present time, because we're in the process of updating the set here at our wonderful guest media studios in our great city of Geelong, because don't forget, Wednesday the 9th of December at 6:30 p.m, for the first time ever, Geelong will have its own news service weekly on Channel 31. News Geelong, 6:30, 9th of December, the launch of the first ever. And one of the gentlemen who'll be leading the world of sport reporting in that News Geelong service, none other than the man from Ballerine, Mr. Tim Michell. Good morning, Tim.
Yeah, thanks, Graham. Very excited to be part of the News Geelong team, as you said, and certainly looking forward to that launch on Wednesday, December 9th, but really looking forward to the cricket as well. I get out there, I think Port Arlington in B grade, the game that I'm playing, and they need about 40 or so to beat us. We played through the rain last week, and I know a few sides did, but unfortunately for our guest, his side couldn't get out there. So without further ado, I'll let you introduce him to all the viewers, Rawlo.
A man of very, very distinctive, shall we say, celebrations in season 2008-2009, because he's the coach of the Geelong West Cricket Club, reigning premiers. And last Saturday, they didn't get a bat or a bowl. Very good morning to Shane Arthur. How are you, mate?
Very well, thank you, and thanks for having me on the show.
Now, before we go any further, let's stick that left thumb up. What, yes, legally, what have we done to it?
Unfortunately, I copped a knock fielding when we played St Joseph's earlier in the year, which broke it in a couple of places. So I'm about 2 or 3 weeks away from getting it right, I think, hopefully. Well,
we hope so too, Shane, and Shane will be our special guest throughout this morning's Geelong Cricket Show. Let's turn our attention to Geelong Premier Cricket. And what a day it was down at the Geelong Cricket Ground. Yes, even though there was precipitation drifting down throughout the afternoon, they started half an hour late, but North Melbourne were able to thwart the Geelong team in an outright situation. Geelong finishing up with first innings points after a brilliant performance from Daniel Salpietro, the little fella from North Melbourne, yes, formerly from Footscray Edgewater. He finished the day with a magnificent innings of 155, a magnificent knock, saved them all. But Tim, the thing I couldn't understand is why Geelong didn't make some very necessary and quick bowling changes to break through what was a very determined North Melbourne batting attack in their second innings.
Yeah, as you said, Graham, a fantastic batting performance by Salpietro to obviously thwart Geelong in their attempt for an outright. But it was interesting to see that Damien Shanahan, who hasn't actually bowled too much himself, took the ball and actually tried to get that breakthrough for Geelong, and then went to Aaron Finch, who got 2 wickets in 2 overs. So he did throw the ball around a little bit. It was surprising, though, that Liam Buchanan, who's done so much for the Cats with the bat over the last few weeks, leading the Premier Cricket run scorers at the moment, wasn't given the ball, though. Obviously, a pretty handy spinner himself. And with Jeremy Hardigai, who bowled so fantastically last week, struggling a little bit, just thought that maybe Liam could have been throwing the ball and maybe got a couple of breakthroughs that would have proved crucial. But Geelong get that win, go further up the ladder and face another crucial clash starting today against Melbourne Uni.
Yes, Geelong move into 5th position on the Premier Cricket ladder. Ringwood's still out on top on 32, but then they group up. Melbourne on 23, Paran on 23, Carlton on 22, Geelong on 21. Geelong take on Melbourne University this weekend, today and tomorrow, in a 2-day game, and it's going to be a very important game. Melbourne University in 13th position on the ladder, but only 14 points, so they're only 4 points outside the top 8. That's how close it is. Geelong are going to rely heavily on the competition's leading run maker, Liam Buchanan, 566 runs, the first player to break the 500 runs for the season, and an average of 80.86. Evan Culbers from Carlton on 451, Tom Strader from Ringwood on 412, the only 3 batsmen over 400 runs. But Melbourne University, well, it could be a big challenge, Tim.
Yeah, I think it might be, but the important thing for the Cats will be if someone can back up Liam. As you say, Liam Buchanan's been in fantastic touch with the bat and inventing a few shots as well, which we obviously saw in the Geelong Advertiser a few weeks back in the 2020 that the Cats played. He's even batting that well. But I think if someone else can stand up and really support him, we've seen a little bit of Damien Shanahan, the coach, who got 80 a few weeks ago, I think. Aaron Finch is obviously back after batting fantastically a couple of times for Victoria. So if one of those guys can stand up and support Liam, then I think it'll put the Cats on the way to another victory, Graham.
It'll put the pressure on their bowling attack. Shane, you've seen a bit of Premier Cricket around. The Geelong bowling attack, particularly on the flat wicket down at the Geelong Cricket Ground, they've worked very well. Mark Carson is the leading aggregate wicket taker in the competition at the present time with 19 wickets, and is certainly forming the backbone of the Geelong attack.
Yeah, he's a fantastic bowler. I haven't seen a great deal of him, but I've heard many reports from a lot of the local guys who've actually played against him before. And they've also got, obviously, Wallery's down there too, who's a very experienced bowler, and they do have a good attack. They've got a bit of variety, but those guys have had a lot of experience, so he's one of the guys I'll be relying on for the rest of the year.
And the big tall bloke from North Geelong, Cam Alford, is also bowling with a lot of zip and fire.
I actually played against him when he was at North Geelong about, I think, the season before he went to Geelong, and he surprised me. He had a bit of pace, he was pretty zippy, and he's going to be a good prospect for the future for Geelong.
So today and tomorrow, Geelong versus Melbourne University down at Geelong Cricket Ground, as we turn our attention to the Bellarine Peninsula Cricket Association. And in the A grade, the match of the day, second playing third, Drysdale hammered 6 for 201 off 68 overs. Can Anglesea Kangaroos get up, Tim?
It's going to be interesting. It's going to probably be decided this game in the 7 overs that Drysdale still have left to bat because of all the rain delays that happened down there last week at Anglesea. They only faced the 68 overs Drysdale, which leaves them with 7 to start the day. Anglesea then have the option from there to almost dictate terms. They'll go after it, I guess, at the start, depending on how much Drysdale do get away from them in this first 7 overs. But then if they do lose 2 or 3 early ones, Anglesea will also have the option of shutting up shop and just playing for the draw as well. And that's something that we're going to see in a lot of games down on the Bellarine, with a lot of sides that did bat first last week still with the option to dictate whether they do go for it or end up shutting up shop if they do lose a couple of early ones, like Anglesea in that one, Graham.
Newcombe look as if they're going to be wooden spooners, all out for 82 off 53 overs. Barrable 2 for 87. Will they declare overnight?
I don't think they'll declare overnight. Having chatted to Ben Strawn, their coach, a little bit earlier in the week, he said that they'll probably bat for about 15 or 20 overs, see what they can get off that, try and get themselves a fairly handy lead, and then obviously up at home, back their bowlers in to do the job again. Shane Wilson, one of the veterans for Barrable, who's been such a handy player for them over a number of years now, came straight back into that side and just showed his class last week with 5 for 18. So it's going to be tough again for Newcombe as they try and stop that outright bid from Barrable. But if Barrable can get that, it would end up being a really crucial win for their season, because they have struggled at the start of the season as well. And I just think Newcombe are a good enough side with a few good young players in there that they probably went after the bowls a little bit too much last week, and they'll come out determined not to get that outright win or outright loss. It'll be for Newcombe off Barrable, and I think Newcombe will hold them out, and Barrable will settle for 6 points in that one.
And a quick look at the other games. Colindine looked like holding on to top place, resuming at 1 for 45 in reply to Ocean Grove's miserly first innings of 98.
Yeah, very, very disappointing again for Ocean Grove. Another total under 100. So David Bate and his boys really need to respond with the bat over the next few weeks if they're going to stay in contention for the top 6. But Colindine just roll on, playing absolutely fantastically at the moment, the Cobras.
And Bowen Head 7 for 188, facing up against Port Arlington.
Yeah, it's another one of those games where Bowen Heads have a chance to bat at the start, and they'll set the terms. If they can get about 220 on the board, I think the Seagulls will have done enough.
And in the final game, the Queenscliff Cooters 8 for 219 up against Wallington.
Yeah, Wallington will be disappointed. It was a miracle 9th wicket partnership that actually got Queenscliff above 200 last week, and I think that'll be enough to get the Cooters to victory today.
We'll go to a break on the Geelong Cricket Show and be back with more after this.